Marley was alone. Of that, she was sure. Sitting in this cabin, she'd been exiled to this place. This night was not so different from the past few weeks. As the nights grew long and dark, winter without snow made it truly feel like a dead season. This night was different in one very important way. It was Christmas Eve. Marley now sits on a couch, lost in an old family photo album of faces she betrayed.
Hope there is none here. Hello?
Merry Christmas, ma'am. I was wondering if I could get some assistance. See, I'm driving to Christmas with my family and I got a flat tire. As luck would have it, I left the jack at home. Would you happen to have a spare?
Yeah, give me a second.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. By the way, my name is Bert.
Nice to meet you, Bert. The jack's in the garage. Follow me.
Well, it best be going. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Would you like some coffee before you go?
Why, I'd love some. Thank you.
Is something the matter?
Well, you see, it's Christmas Eve, and I don't see any decorations. I don't even see a baby Jesus anywhere.
I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas.
Well, it's the happiest, most hopeful time of the year. Why not?
That may be, but I haven't seen my family in months. Without family, Christmas is nothing.
Are you sure? Well, I really must be going. You know, there is still hope in Christmas, if you know where to look. It's dark out tonight. You might want to leave your light on. You never know who will need it.
Marley stared at the door for several moments when she heard church bells ring in the distance. It was an odd hour for them to toll, but nevertheless, when Marley heard them, she went to the window. There was no trace of Bert's car.
Hope there is none here.
The couch was hard, a relic from decades ago when her family came to the cabin for Christmas. Marley tried to sleep, but the supports of the frame pressed at her sides. The house creaked as the wind pushed at it. Marley could hear the frames on the wall swaying back and forth. She heard the church bells ring again. It was a strange hour to toll, as the clock read 10 p.m., Christmas Eve.
Who are you? How did you get in here?
Bert sent me. He said your coffee pot could use a tune-up. Oh, and your door was unlocked.
And what's wrong with my coffee pot?
My friend said there was no hope of keeping your brew warm in this house. Said the heating element might be bad. I saw the photo you were looking at. Mighty nice family. Where are they tonight?
They don't want to see me.
Family is something, even over decades, not easily lost.
Hope there is none here.
Are you sure?
A white flash occurred. Marley found herself in the same room, but something was different.
Where are we?
Christmas Day, from your childhood. I'm sure you remember many of these.
Marley remembered this day, the warmth of the sun, the smell of the tree, the sound of broken glass, and the look on her father's face.
Marley, what were you thinking? That tree's all over the floor, ornaments smashed. Christmas is over.
You see, that's the thing about this day. Humanity had gone so far out into the darkness that they were like hopeless animals. But on Christmas, God sent His Son, a light into the darkness, a hope that permeated all of history. It's the kind of story that everyone can look back at and know that their hero has come. A hope that they can't escape. Now watch closely. Look through what you remember.
Marley,
It's okay. But what were you thinking? You could have hurt someone. Come back in the other room and apologize.
Marley sat up in a sweat. The wind howled outside. She looked at the coffee pot. It sat fully assembled on the counter, just where she had left it. Marley was hungry. She hadn't been able to sleep since reliving the memory from her childhood. She sat at the table, stirring her soup. She arranged the noodles as she listened to the church bells toll. It was 11 p.m., Christmas Eve.
Alphabet soup on Christmas Eve. I may be able to spell hope, but there is none here.
Marley saw the cabin completely lit up with Christmas decorations. She wandered toward the living room, astounded. Light poured through the windows like every Christmas morning she could remember.
Salutations!
Who are you?
Bert sent me. He said you could use some help decorating. Although if I knew your cabin was this far gone, I would have dragged him along to help. He told me you were missing something. Yes, here it is. The hope of a new family. A hope for a new world.
It must be nice to have hope, but there is none here.
Are you sure?
Marley found herself in the same room, but in the not-so-recent present. She could hear the last argument she had with her husband in the next room.
I love you. We can move forward together.
I don't want to see this.
You need to see this to understand.
Please, don't leave.
It's not your fault. I love you.
You're not alone.
I mentioned this family, the hope that they represent. Of course, we have baby Jesus, but let's talk about Mary and Joseph for a moment. These two ordinary people had what could have been their greatest shame put on public display, but they held on to the one thing that they had, their hope. Told that they were caring for the Son of God? Absurd, right? They could have chosen a different path, but they chose to find hope in the path through. You've been asking where your hope is at, stating that it's not here, but it is. You may have walked out on it, but just as it was for Mary and Joseph, it will lead you through if you choose to see it. Come now. You have more to see. Stay the path. You're almost reached the end.
Marley opened her eyes. She sat up, hearing the wind outside. Marley looked around and saw the decorations were gone, all except for the nativity. She decided to not let herself sleep. There was one more visitor to come. Marley paced the cabin. She was insistent to not sleep again. These figures would not take her. She was determined. At every lap, she was focused on the clock and now listened to the church bells. Based on the others' arrival, all she had to do was make it to midnight Christmas Day.
What did Bert send you here for? Hasn't he shown me enough? Haven't I been through enough? What is this? Who is that kid?
Marley walked over and saw a birth certificate. She was listed as a parent.
What is this? This is impossible.
Are you sure?
What is this? Who are you?
I am a possible future. A future that is growing dimmer and dimmer as you walk further from the hope you've been given. Christmas, the gift of life, light, and the birth of Jesus. It was given to all of humanity and changes time itself. This light gives humanity a promise that a great hope and future exists beyond their suffering. I know that's hard to see with the storm swirling around you, but the birth of Jesus creates a way through heartache. You just have to hold on.
Marty looked at her son's face, and she began to cry. She reached out and touched his shoulder. He smiled softly, and they both fell into a hug. This was the last thing Marty remembered of her Christmas Eve. Marley sat up on the couch. She looked out the window. It was Christmas Day. She looked around the cabin. It was bare, save for the nativity on the table. She stood up and ran to the window.
They may not be here, but that won't stop me.
She found all the family decorations and tore through box after box. Stockings, candles, wreaths, blankets. She found everything. Next was the tree. She placed it in the corner, strung the lights, and finally placed a star atop it. When the decorating was complete, she sat on the couch with a cup of coffee. She had not felt this warm or excited about Christmas in a long time. Marley read the Christmas story just as she and her family had always done. Marley's mom came through the door with enough food
We figured we'd find you here, honey.
and a hug that could save the world.
Took us all night to get here.
Never far behind Mom or food was Dad.
Where do you want these?
Marley saw the look in his eyes.
Tree's not gonna fall this year, is it? We thought we gave you enough time, and no one should be alone on Christmas.
She missed his dad jokes. Marley stared out the door. The person she missed most was not here.
Hey, it's cold out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Marley, I love you. There is nothing to forgive.
Oh.
They were reunited, the entire family. Marley felt safe, warm, and hopeful. She was grateful for those around her.
Thank you, everyone, for not losing hope in me, even though I lost it in myself.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to say. Merry Christmas and God bless us everyone.
Marley and her family had a wonderful Christmas. They ate, played games, opened presents, and read the Christmas story for the first time in a long time. Marley felt she was home.